Thorne flicked it on, and it's gone in! Pardew! 4-3 Palace!
The winning goal that's put Crystal Palace into this year's cup final. An extraordinary 4-3 victory over Liverpool this afternoon. If you watched it earlier, I'm sure you'll agree it was well merited too. Now here at Main Road we concentrate on the other semi-final, Oldham against Manchester United. Jimmy Hill is this one with us. And Jimmy, interesting to see Brian Robson back in the United team this afternoon after 3 months.
And Neil Webb as well, of course. And I don't think it's a disadvantage for them playing in front of 40,000 people. Although they've had injuries, I think the fact that that number of people in the ground going to mean they're going to forget all injuries. I mean, they haven't forgotten how to play while they've been out.
Well, you can't write anybody off now after that other victory, but Oldham's season has fallen away over the last few weeks just a little bit.
Yes, I did predict that they would go downhill in the league, and that has happened, not with any malice, but because they'd had so much emotional excitement that they were going to struggle. So on that basis, I'm not surprised. The question is, can they come back on one day with their full team out and produce the kind of result that was produced this morning by Crystal Palace?
It's a good psychological advantage for United to have Robson back in the side, I would have thought.
Yes,
even if he's not fit to last the whole game, start with him.
Start with your best team. I mean, don't disappoint the other side by starting with something inferior. But we'd be idiotic, I think, at this time of the year, you know, with a hardish sort of ground. They were watering it this morning, but there's still the odd bad bounce and a bit of a wind here. The match is going to be a close one. I mean, it's silly to say, as we found out, that any side is superior in a semi-final. Both sides have a chance of winning it. I expect United to win it because I think Oldham's season has caught up with them already to an extent. They should be very proud of it, but their disadvantage is they're already at Wembley in the Little Woods Cup. So if they lose, it isn't the end of the season for them. United, it's everything for them and their manager.
OK, Jim. Now, our match commentators for this one, Trevor Brooking and Barry Davis.
Well, the sun is shining over Manchester, as it was over the city of Birmingham. The question is, how will the drama compare? We're still waiting for the two teams as we look over the city of Manchester, and the delight here among the Manchester United supporters to hear that Liverpool are no longer in the FA Cup. Very nearly took the roof off the far stand here at Main Road. We're looking down the tunnel as the officials wait to bring out the two teams. Referee is Joe Worrell of Warrington. Two linesmen, Dave Frampton and John Sinclair. And there's a reserve referee on the left there, Mike Peck. From the shadows into the sunshine. The reception from two bands of supporters separated only by 10 miles. Oldham in blue, Manchester United in red. Special welcome for Brian Robson. His last game was against Liverpool, in the first team, that is, on December the 23rd. Since then, the groin and the hernia operation. So let's check on the two lineups. First of all, Oldham Athletic. In the end, the only change from a third consecutive league defeat at Leicester on Tuesday is in goal, where John Holworth reclaims the position from Andy Rhodes. For 22-year-old Earl Barrett, it's a return to the ground where his career began. For 29-year-old Andy Ritchie, a contest against the club for whom he was 13th man at Wembley 11 years ago. The Manchester United side, you know already that Robson and Webb are included. The man who stands down is Danny Wallace. It's a side apparently packed with midfield players. because Brian McClare has been playing wide on the right. It'll be interesting to see whether he does so again or whether he now joins Mark Hughes up front. Neil Webb played his first full game 8 days ago. That was against Coventry City at Old Trafford, when he hit the crossbar, but he was given a fairly free role and he wasn't put under much pressure. Andy Ritchie, who's been troubled with a groin strain, but came back on Tuesday, and there was never really any doubt that he would play in this one. He's played in the semi-final for Leeds United and for Manchester United. Joe Worrell whistles up for the two skippers. Cup final referee 12 months ago, Joe Worrell, now greets Mike Milligan and the Oldham substitute, Stephen Smith, 12-year-old. Brian Robson, a little older than that, 33. But full of smiles, and understandably so. Mike Milligan has just forced himself into the Irish group for the World Cup. He played against England B at Cork and played very well by all accounts. He's been a key man in their side. Robson had the choice, it would seem. Well, it's 10 years ago, as we see Robson exhort his troops. It's 10 years ago since the second division side won the FA Cup. The man who scored the winning goal then is sitting next to me, Trevor Brookie.
Well, shocks can happen, as you just said, about 10 years ago, but we've also seen Crystal Palace perform great already, and is really set up for another great second semi-final, I'm sure.
Referee just checking. He's happy with everything. We'll probably hear a helicopter above us. There's also a plane just leaving Manchester Airport, giving the passengers a view of this second FA Cup semi-final of the day. And for a change, of course, the winners know who is waiting for them at Wembley. Ian Marshall scored twice against his old club Everton, including the decisive one. And it's Oldham attacking the goal to our left. And that went under Gary Pallister. He won't want that to happen too much, particularly not in the last third of the field. McPhelan with the throw. McClare started on the right. Holden, who went then with Hughes, and McClare now behind Holden. Andy Holden, who's reclaimed his place after injury from Paul Warhurst. He's starting very much on the right side, and very much in the right-back position, with Gibson playing in midfield, it would seem.
It's always interesting to see United's formation. Michael Phelan is going to play right back, important role with Ricky Holden, of course, down the left-hand side. And then Gibson will play wide on the left, McClare wide on the right, and Webb will be given a free role just behind Mark Hughes up front.
Pitch has been well watered, as Jimmy Hill said. In fact, during the course of the week, it's had on it 36,000 gallons of water. Pallister in the battle with Marshall, all a little bit untidy. Phelan can give a feel of the ball to Jim Leighton. I think Leighton would appreciate it. Knows well what it's like to be in a Scottish Cup final, Jim Leighton. Redfern, but he had no real control on the ball. Robson. Barrett and Hughes won by Holden. Dennis Irwin, former Leeds United player, and like his skipper Mike Milligan, forcing himself to the fringe of the Republic of Ireland's World Cup squad. Also played in the B match at Cork. Uncomfortable that for Phelan. Here's Andy Ritchie. What a strong challenge by Bruce, and then by Robson. He really is unbelievable, Brian Robson. That sort of challenge, his first in a match when he's been out so long. The ball must have squealed. On by Martin. The free kick is against Gibson for the challenge on Milligan. And Oldham with 4 forward, 2 wide, 2 down the middle. Earl Barrett in possession. It's a little bit long. Leclerc. Hughes. Instant, but comfortably cut out by Barlow. Good challenge by Hughes, it was enough. Webb. Nick Henry, who got back to deny him any room. Andy Barlow there is the only Oldham-born player in the Oldham side. And has played at Wembley. Phelan. Good cover by Holden. Good play by the skipper. Barlow's appearance at Wembley was as a schoolboy playing rugby league before the Rugby League Cup final. Here goes Andy Ritchie. And Holden trying to follow it through to get round behind Phelan, but a bit of a mess between Phelan and Jim Leighton, about which there were no words. And the first corner of the match is to the second division side. Holden will take it. Marshall on the near post. Holden again. Trying to change the angle. Oh, an awkward one, and Barrett! Earl Barrett, the scorer. What a mess for Manchester United. What a delight for Oldham Athletic. He just had to stand there and wave his foot. As the ball came across, Ritchie went for it. I must say he looks a bit offside in that position. But the goal is given. Oldham have the lead.
Well, what an amazing start. Really, Rick Holden nearly got on the first ball across the face of the goal, and Michael Phelan cut it out, and they were lucky to get away with that. And then Ricky Holden, it was again, whipped in the cross. He's been so effective, hasn't he, either side with those whipped in crosses. And as you say, Andy Ritchie just, I think, took the eye off the ball for Jim Leighton, and there it was, Earl Barrett. Couldn't believe it, 5 yards out, open goal, 1-0.
Owen. Free kick is given. Paul Ince was complaining.
You're querying the offside just now, Barry. I think when the ball was first whipped in, then Man United moved up, and I've got a feeling, although he looked well offside when he's tapped it in, when the ball was played, it probably wasn't.
Well, certainly the referee and linesman were absolutely down the line where Barrett was standing. They had no doubts about it. It's United free kick. It's where the ball was lost by Leighton. Hughes. Irwin. Redfern to Ritchie is seeing a lot of the ball, and that's good for Oldham. And whatever happens to the second division side, they've set some good standards in that division and in attitude to the game and to people. Flag was up for offside, and Paul Ince again complains, and he would do well to calm down a little bit. Young man rather shaken by the start. I don't think he's alone in the United team. Oldham's 54th match of the season, their 16th in cup competitions, and they have a priceless lead.
Because apart from rocking Manchester United a bit, Oldham, who having lost 3 league games in 10 days, really got the boost there of an early goal, which now I think was vital, because if they'd have gone down in a game, having lost 3 league games, you know, you wonder whether the chins might have dropped. But now you can see them really fired up, taking such an early lead.
Particularly Trevor, as in those 3 league games, they conceded 6 and failed to score. So it's ended that scoring drought at the best possible time. Mark Hughes and Andy Holden. Webb underneath it, beaten by Barrett. Could he handle it? Redfern looking for Ritchie. Phelan gets in front of Ritchie. Flick on by Hughes. Gibson, great challenge by Holden. Flag was up. United to push right up to about 15 yards on the halfway line. Webb being given no time to settle on the ball, and that's no surprise. It was by Coventry City. Ten minutes gone. Manchester United on the wrong end of a 1-0 score. And the man who scored the goal is in the centre of your picture there, Earl Barrett. His 3rd goal of the season, incidentally. Webb to chase. Andy Holden has made a very solid start. Here's Webb. Brings it back. Off Henry for the corner. Manchester United's first. In which Webb takes a central position, in which Gibson will curl in. There in the middle of the 6-yard box. Bruce didn't get cleanly at it. Paul Ince, blocked by Barlow. Michael Phelan's had a difficult start playing at right back. It's an interesting choice by Alec Ferguson, particularly bearing in mind that Paul Ince has played at fullback for him earlier in the season. Indeed, fairly recently. Leclerc. Put up. Bannister and Bruce both up on the far side, joining Gibson and Hughes. McClare in the centre. Bruce comes a bit short. It's out by Milligan. Ritchie. It's a major part of his role in the side, Andy Ritchie. He's very much a man to whom they give the ball and who will hold it up for others to come forward. Pallister, the cover man. Ince. Nobody wide. Had to go that way, covered by Barrett. Gives it away to Ince. Barrett seems unsure where to go. He's not covering behind the fullback. And Manchester United get the corner. And Barrett found himself a little bit as a spectator then. Wasn't really sure whether to stay with the man that he was initially trying to mark or to cover behind the man who was defending. The push and shove with McClare. That's a difficult one and is brilliantly taken by John Horwath. Got his place back from Andy Rhodes after missing the last 2 games.
There's Earl Barrett knocking it back, still recovering probably from scoring in the 3rd minute. And as I say, I'm still pretty sure that he wasn't offside. When the ball was whipped in, Ricky Holden, he did certainly make ground. We saw from the replay from behind the goal, you could see him take 4 or 5 strides forward.
Pallister making life unnecessarily difficult for himself. Hughes. Webb. Difficult for Neil Webb. So far he's playing like a man who hasn't been playing first-team football.
It's an interesting selection by both managers, really. You got Ryan Robson and Neil Webb both been out long times, and of course Andy Holden and Andy Ritchie of Oldham. And it's a case of which of those 4, I suppose, makes the most impression.
This is Hughes. 4 United players in the area. Paul Ince. Phelan over to the right. Good challenge by Milligan. Good dummy by Ritchie. Marshall is far side. That's for whom it's aimed, but Marshall is offside. Lovely dummy, which Pallister balked completely, but it needed the instant crossfield ball. Barlow and McClare, and the free kick against the Oldham man, who's pulled away by Andy Holden. There is no man on the pitch keener to get to Wembley unless it's Brian Robson, and it's Robson who will take the kick. Twice captain the winning side for United there. And that's one of his better free kicks. Webb. Ritchie. Bit of pulling. But the referee doesn't get the free kick. Hughes tries to get something from Mr. Worrell for that, and Mr. Worrell, quite rightly, turns with an expression of disdain. Offside against Marshall.
We mentioned Andy Ritchie and Andy Holden here, sort of out wide, 2 key men sort of this season. But I think the 2 midfield men, Milligan and Henry, are so busy people that you know, they close people down. Ince, Webb and Robson at the moment haven't been able to get any space, and those 2, as I say, are really key players. And I think Joe Roll has pinpointed those 2 as being very important if Oldham are going to be successful this afternoon.
He's the most influential player on the park at the moment. Getting ahead of Brian Robson. So much at stake for him, not only a place at Wembley, but if he could get the better of Brian Robson, then Jack Charlton would surely have to take note. Barrett had to watch the bounce and did well. Dear oh dear, Hughes crawling all over him. Leclerc, despite having three around him initially. Phelan, Rick Holden covering the space in front. This is Webb, Barlow to him. It's well done by Webb. Gibson at the back post. And Redfern does well. Just couldn't find Ritchie there. Redfern. Got the nod for the midfield position. There might have been thoughts in Joe Royle's mind of playing a fourth attacking player in Frank Bunn, or even in Roger Palmer. He's one of the substitutes, Palmer. Corner number 3 for Manchester United. There's Palmer in the centre, Warhurst to the left as we look. The other Oldham substitute. In comes Bruce. Holden went with him. Owen only partially away. Good turn by Gibson and a free kick. Bruce has got away, but he's offside.
Oldham have held the 18-yard box very well. That's about 3 free kicks now Manchester United have played in, and you know, that one was offside. Steve Bruce getting in there too early, and the other 2 have gone harmlessly through to John Hallworth. And at the moment, Manchester United finding it difficult to get a clear-cut opening.
We've been playing for 20 minutes. Noel Barrett's 6-minute goal dividing the teams. Manchester United seemingly having to do everything at a stretch. And this is Ritchie, good cover by Ince. Webb was virtually playing up front alongside Hughes, to whom he gives possession. Real determination from Barrett, shoulder to shoulder. And Robson will be spoken to by the referee. That really was a very poor challenge, one born of frustration. I'm sure he was upset that Barrett had won the ball.
It was a wonderful tackle by old Barrett. He's so quick in his recovery, and there's Brian Robson. Well, he must have made a few tackles already, hadn't he? You wouldn't think he's been out as long as he has.
The head of Phelan. And I think if there's a word that would sum up Manchester United's performance so far, it is uncomfortable all over the pitch. They're not enjoying what they're being asked to do. Not quite sure why Holden didn't give that to Hallworth, and I think Hallworth might agree with me. Hughes. Owen's clearance. Brian Robson was offside, and so probably were Webb and Hughes.